Let's go into the wide receiver position. My favorite man of all time. I can't wait to talk about him. I have a man crush on this boy. His name is Kadarius Toney. And here's the thing, dude. I go to my waiver wire. I go to my ESPN, and I look. Kadarius Toney is being dropped. His roster percentage is at 43%. And listen.
Why?
Okay, so why is everybody dropping Kadarius Toney? Obviously last week there was a lot of buys, so
maybe you had to because
I understand
you
that.
needed
That's
somebody.
fine. That's fine. But go pick him back up. This man is insane. If he comes back, I think what was it, ankle injury, correct?
It was an ankle injury. Yeah.
If he comes back this week, I love Kadarius Toney, man. Like, especially all these guys are on bye. And by the way, Kenny Galladay, I was reading some stuff about the beat writer. This guy he's got some legal stuff going on, and he's just not showing up to court. He keeps getting in trouble, and I don't even really know exactly what it's about. But Kenny Galladay, it seems like he's got some off the field stuff going on, as well as a lot of injuries happening at the wide receiver position for the Giants. So to me, it opens up a lot of opportunity for Kadarius Toney, and the guy's sick. And they're playing the Chiefs on Monday night. So if this guy starts this week, oh my God, that's fucking wet. Danny Dimes in primetime, I like it. I mean, I don't know.
I was like, oh, say less.
If he was out there, he'd be my number one waiver wire claim on for wide receivers at least.
Yeah, 100%. I think I don't know. I don't know if there's anything. This guy is so sick. He's
just watching these highlights. I know it's just it's pretty much these highlights are just from that Cowboys game, but I mean that was a whole highlight reel. I mean, what he had like 10 catches, 189 yards. I mean, it's just
he beat Odell's record for rookie single game yard record. I mean
he's good. He's good.
And we're like, people are talking about picking up Darius Slayton this week, and we were talking about Darius Slayton last week, but Kadarius Toney to me is much, much, much more valuable than Darius Slayton. I think as far as like persons that you want to target on this Giants offense, people are talking about Evan Ingram maybe. No, fuck all that. Kadarius Toney, you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely.
Yeah. I guess only one person. If Sterling Shepard,
I'll
throw him as like an honorable mention for these Giants wide receivers. If Sterling Shepard's out there, definitely go get him because he was getting like 8, 9, 10 targets a game, and that type of volume is just insane. So if Sterling Shepard's there, go grab him. But I love Kadarius Toney.
I just feel like Sterling Shepard was getting that before Kadarius started having decent games.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like the offense might change a little bit now that they have the knowledge of Kadarius Toney's opportunity. And that week that he had 3 for 36, it was like on the first drive.
It was like I think he had 3 catches and 6 snaps. I think it was.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know if that doesn't show you. And that was after the big game he had. So, anyways, Kadarius Toney, definitely go get him. Hey, listen, right now, I know we talk about him a lot, but Underdog Fantasy, it has a really good deal right now. It's a player pick'em app. It's a DFS app. It's very similar to DraftKings or FanDuel, but this is better. It's brand new, very easy to use interface. But if you download the app right now and use promo code AVG, they used to hook up with $10 with your first deposit. Right now, they're matching you up to $100. So if you put $100 in the app right now on your first deposit, you will get an extra $100 to play around with. They got player pick'ems. You can even do a private match inside Underdog Fantasy. It's pretty dope. So you can like challenge people and whatnot. You don't have to maintain a team for all year. So you can just draft your team, play that week, draft the next team next week. You could do it daily in like a Thursday night game as well. So go check it out. Tons of prizes. Free $100. Come on, sign up. It's the best. And use promo code AVG. Now back to your video. Now we're moving on to the Jaguars side of the ball. They're playing the Seattle Seahawks this week. I like Laviska Shenault as a waiver wire ad.
I mean, this was another one I was kind of surprised to see on the waiver wire, but he's like 40 to 65% available depending on what league you're in. I mean, this guy needs to be rostered way more leagues than that. He's second on the team in targets behind Marvin Jones. He's got 40 targets on the season. And the Seahawks pass defense, not very good. They allowed the 6th most passing yards, and they've allowed the 8th most receptions to wide receivers. So when you think about that stat, 8th most receptions to wide receivers, you think about Laviska Shenault being like this PPR guy. So yeah, give me all the Laviska Shenault this week. Definitely grabbing him off the waiver wire and throwing him into my lineup at least as a flex option. So, I mean, if you like Trevor Lawrence, you got to like the guys that he's throwing the ball to, right? Marvin Jones, Laviska Shenault.
Totally.
Yeah, go get him. And, maybe this is a good buy low opportunity on him. Coming off a bye, hasn't really been doing anything super crazy yet, but maybe you can go out there and throw a little trade offer out there and grab him from the Laviska Shenault owner and get this guy on your team.
Yes, I do.
Or or maybe you do like a 2-for-2 trade or a 2-for-1. And you just kind of throw him in there. You're like, hey, just give me Laviska Shenault too, and
Yeah, I do know.
Yeah, so I like it.
Okay.
I like it.
Let's go on to T.Y. Hilton. He had the quadriceps injury recently, but this man is still legit. I mean, don't forget Jesus.
Yeah, I mean, T.Y. Hilton, 75% available. They're going to be at home against the Titans. He had the one game where he came back, got you 4 catches on 4 targets for 80 yards. That was against the Texans. They were smacking them, so you didn't have to really utilize him in that matchup too well. But he still got you a nice little game, especially in PPR. 12 points, safe floor, nothing crazy, but didn't bust for you at least. You got Paris Campbell, who season is done with the ankle injury, I believe it is. And then, Pascal's there, but he's kind of just like a veteran wide receiver. There's no real receiving threat in terms of the tight end position. I know Mo Alley Cox has been getting some touchdowns here and there, but, I mean, he's not getting you 5, 6, 7, 8 catches a game for 80 yards, like some of these other top tier
tight ends. Yeah, he's not
tight
taking up like a lot of the receiving work.
Yeah, and then the running backs, you got Naheem Hines and Jonathan Taylor getting theirs, but, if when T.Y. comes back, hopefully it's this week, the report, at least this morning, we're recording this early Tuesday morning, that he looks good, and they're optimistic that he'll come back for this game against the Titans. This passing game is going to be Michael Pittman Jr. and T.Y. Hilton. So it's like I'm going to want to get both those guys into my lineup if possible. So, yeah, give me all the T.Y. Hilton.
Yeah, and this goes to show that Carson Wentz was a good choice. Go grab T.Y. Hilton. Then we got Rashod Bateman. I don't know how I feel about this one, but let's hear it.
I mean, I just threw Bateman in here because he's been like the hot commodity. He's been like a hot name that's going around. So if you're searching some Rashod Bateman info and you landed here, welcome. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button.
Yeah, sure.
But, they're going to be on a bye this week, so he's kind of more of a stash. This is kind of one of those things, too, where Mike was saying, you go to the players, you go to the receivers, and you hit that roster percentage filter to, filter through who the highest roster players are on the waiver wire, because if you go there, he's not going to be there because he's on a bye, so he's projected 0, so he won't show up on the just basic waiver wire wide receiver column or whatever. But 80% available. He's had 6 targets in back-to-back games, and it's crazy the stat I think I saw or heard. Lamar Jackson's averaging like 6 or 7 more passes per game this year compared to last season. And I don't know if that's in correlation to the fact that, they lost J.K. Dobbins, they lost Gus Edwards. So now they're just like shuffling through these veteran running backs, Murray, Freeman, Tyson, Le'Veon. It's like a fucking carousel over there, trying to figure out who to start for the Ravens running backs. So maybe they're leaning more on Lamar Jackson and like the passing game compared to the running game. But yeah, so Bateman, rookie out of Minnesota, first rounder. Obviously, said you're going to get a guy because you want to utilize him on your team. I mean, the guy's super talented. The only knock I had on him was that he was going to the Ravens, who at that point were the run heaviest team, and Lamar Jackson not being very accurate. I do got to give it to Lamar Jackson. He does throw some dimes here and there, like that. The passing through to Marquise Brown in the back of the end zone was a dime. Obviously a really good catch by Hollywood Brown to catch the ball and then get his feet down for the touchdown. But I mean that pass was on the money in my opinion. So obviously if they're going to be throwing the ball a little bit more instead of running it as much, then why not take a shot on Bateman and see what he can be? He's the bigger body receiver. He could turn into something. So grab and stash play.
Yeah, I like Marquise Brown over Rashod Bateman. Obviously, that's not a crazy statement to make, but I don't know. Like, if you watch his highlights, like, watch Lamar try and throw it to him. Ready? Way over. Like, I mean, that was good defense, actually. But, like, if you watch his next play, he sailed it over him. But, like, and then I was watching, you've watched more college highlights, so correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I was watching, like, kind of after the catch. Rashod Bateman, like, it's almost like he gets nervous and falls forward a little bit on a couple of these plays. So, I'm just not too excited about, like, Rashod Bateman.
Yeah.
I'm not that excited. That's all.
I feel you.
I'm going to look.
I can
other
see that
spots.
side of it as well, too. Yeah, for sure.
Maybe it's the Steelers fan of me hating on Ravens players. It could be, but whatever. Let's go on to the next wide receiver. We have Tim Patrick. I feel like we talk about him a lot. He didn't put up a huge game this past week, unfortunately, against the Browns on Thursday night. It was a little bit rough. But PPR leagues, I still think that he can do some work for you. You want to sell to people?
Yeah, we talk about Tim Patrick every single week. Like I said, I know, last week he didn't have a good game, but we kind of said it. It's kind of a tougher matchup on the road, and then, but there was just so many buys, so many players on buys, so many good players. You had like Stephon Diggs, Manny Sanders, Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, just a couple off the top of my head, Thielen, Jefferson. There's a lot of good receivers that were on buy last week, so you might have had to throw Tim Patrick in your lineup last week, but obviously it gets you a dud. But for the most part, the guy's been pretty solid, especially in PPR leagues. He's had 12 or more PPR points in 5 of the 7 games. So I say it all the time. Men lie, women lie. The numbers do not lie. You're telling me there's a guy who's going to get me 12 or more PPR points more than like 70% of the time I put him in my lineup? Like, sign me up all day. Like, yeah, let me get that guy in my lineup. Especially a guy who's – I'm not banking on him to be my 1 or my 2. He's my wide receiver 3 or my flex option, most likely. So, and then the matchup is money. They're going to be at home against the Washington football team. The Washington football team, they allow the second most receptions to wide receivers and the second most receiving yards to wide receivers. So, yeah, I think Tim Patrick is going to be a money play this week. If you got Cortland Sutton, he's going to be a money play this week as well. Maybe we should have threw Teddy Bridgewater into the streaming quarterback options there. So, and there's actually rumors that Jerry Jeudy might come back as well. So, yeah, like that. Obviously, if Jerry Jeudy comes back, it's going to impact Tim Patrick's value to some degree. But Tim Patrick's not a guy who's, a guy who sees 8, 9, 10 targets. He's a guy who will get you, 5, 6 targets, but he's usually like, 4 for 80 and a touchdown or something like that, or even 4 for 80. That's your 12 points right there in PPR leagues. So
yeah, Broncos coming off a 4-game losing streak. I think they'll bounce back against Washington.
Yeah.
Hey, did you like that video? No, not the one of Big Ben completely eating shit when nobody even touched him. I'm talking about our fantasy football video we just did. You just watched. Well, guess what? That was just a clip from the full audio podcast. So if you want to check out the whole thing, links down below. AVG Fantasy Football Podcast, Stitcher, Spotify, all of them. Anywhere you can get audio podcasts, we're there. Go ahead and check it out. And if you don't want to look at your fantasy team to look the way Big Ben does right here, wait for it. Come on, replay. This is your fantasy team. But that won't be your fantasy team if you subscribe to AVG Fantasy Football. So go ahead, subscribe and like this video. Subscribe to the channel and like.